Okay, here's the plan for how we're going to put Ron Paul into the White House, whether the ignorant masses like it or not. He does not have to win the Republican Party nomination. Ron Paul supporters here in New Hampshire and in our sister states, listen up. Ignorant masses, listen up too, because I have a very important message for you. At the New Hampshire Republican State Convention, there will be a motion, usually routine, non-controversial, to nominate 4 persons to the Electoral College. The Republican Party big shots have selected these 4 supporters of the nominee who can be trusted to vote for the nominee if he wins in New Hampshire. All those in favor say aye, those opposed say nay. The ayes have it, and they move on. Usually, but not this time. How can we get the state convention to nominate 4 Ron Paul supporters? Well, remember what Hillary Rodham Clinton told Ron Paul. You have the most enthusiastic supporters of anybody I ever saw. She's talking about us. We need to get ourselves elected delegates to the Republican State Convention. I've been a delegate 3 times, and if I can do it, believe me, anybody can. We vote down the 4 supporters of the nominee, and we vote to nominate 4 Ron Paul supporters. So if the nominee wins in New Hampshire, Ron Paul gets those electoral votes. We need to do this in as many states as possible. That way Ron Paul will get as many electoral votes as possible. It is likely that the Democrats will win in the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, but maybe we can pull this off on the Democratic side there. Remember, a lot of registered Democrats support Ron Paul. He came in second in the New Hampshire Republican primary and also in the New Hampshire Democratic primary behind Obama. The Electoral College votes don't distinguish whether you're a registered Democrat or Republican. Obama could win a state and Ron Paul could get those electoral votes. Remember 2000? The pregnant Chads in Florida would have been irrelevant if the Democrats had won in New Hampshire, or if we had done this and 4 Ron Paul supporters had been nominated, but of course he wasn't running for president in 2000. Well, picture this, 4 Ron Paul supporters in New Hampshire telling 266 supporters of the Republican nominee, you better vote for Ron Paul or you'll get 4 more years of Obama, because we cannot stomach your candidate. We could get Ron Paul elected by following a constitutional provision that says, each state shall appoint in such manner as the legislature thereof may direct. Positively subversive, eh? Even if we do not pull it off, we gain. Just demanding a debate on the motion and having Ron Paul supporters explaining why the Republican nominee is unfit to hold public office at the Republican State Convention will be worth the price of admission, which, by the way, is free. Also, delegates get to vote a few weeks later in their respective counties on who will be on the New Hampshire Republican State Committee. We can elect Ron Paul supporters, perhaps ourselves, to represent our respective counties. Let me mention that Concord, Derry, Manchester, and Nashua have their own local committees, so if you live there, you would go to the city committee, not the county committee. Now, some people may wonder, what gives us the right to overrule the majority? Well, let's not forget. We are the abolitionists, the ones who choose to hold the correct opinion on slavery. Our opinion is by far and away superior to the wrong opinions held by the crazy people, and we are absolutely entitled to overrule them. They have a right to their opinion on slavery, but that does not entitle them to keep slaves. In Maryland, we ended slavery by using ballots, and in Virginia, slavery was ended by using bullets. Whatever works. In Maryland, we cheated. Well, there was a referendum in 1864. Should we accept the outcome? Of course, as long as we win. If we don't win, we do not accept the outcome, because the will of the majority is no excuse for enslaving somebody else. We cheated by allowing Union soldiers to vote by absentee ballot, but not Confederate soldiers. That wasn't fair, but so what? Slavery was not fair. Cheating or not, we have to win. We could not win by reasoning with the crazy people, so we had to overrule them. It's not our job to change their opinions or their underwear. You know, I spoke with one of the crazy people. His name is John Huntsman, and I met him at a campaign stop here in New Hampshire. I posed the question, do you want to legalize drugs now, or do you still want to wait until more cops get themselves killed in shootouts first? And he said he does not want to legalize drugs. He explained his position and added that he had a sister who died in a drug overdose. Of course, we sensible people know that it was her choice and also her right. The only legitimate function of a government is to secure the rights of persons, and as unfortunate as that death was, she did not violate anybody's rights by overdosing. If you overdose, you overdose. If you die, you die. Just like it says on the license plates here in New Hampshire, live free or die. However, the crazy people believe that they have a right to hire gun-toting goons in bulletproof vests as weapons of unprovoked violence to intimidate citizens into living a healthy, drug-free lifestyle. That practice has to stop. By the way, a few weeks after that campaign stop, on 5 January 2012 in John Huntsman's home state of Utah, 6 cops chose to get themselves shot, one fatally in a drug raid caused by persons who voted wrong. They didn't pull the trigger, but they did pull the lever. If Ron Paul is not in the White House, there will be more of the same. And then who are we going to call? We've got to overrule the crazy people with ballots, or our fellow citizens will overrule them with bullets, plunging our country into total anarchy. Now, if you don't like Ron Paul because he wants to legalize drugs, we cannot follow you into the voting booth, holding a knife to your throat or a gun to your head and threaten to kill you if you vote for somebody who supports drug laws. But we can threaten you with a fate much worse than death. 4 more years of Obama. That could be what it takes to make some of you swallow up all your hatred, malice, bigotry, insanity, hypocrisy, stupidity, wickedness, greed, and lies, and vote for the candidate who supports liberty and justice for all. Remember, in addition to this plan to nominate Ron Paul supporters to the Electoral College, there's also the possibility that the Libertarian Party nominee will pick Ron Paul for the vice presidential spot. And a lot of us Republicans who support Ron Paul will vote for that ticket, taking votes away from your man, and Obama gets in. We cannot stomach Perry, Huntsman, Gingrich, Romney, or Santorum. If you don't like Ron Paul, what have you done to recruit somebody you do like, who wants to legalize drugs, abolish the Federal Reserve, repeal the federal income tax, and adhere strictly to the doctrine of enumerated powers? Nothing, right? So you're stuck with our man, Ron Paul. Now, those of you who do not know what the doctrine of enumerated powers is, that's okay. Just don't vote in our elections because you're way too stupid. The doctrine of enumerated powers is a cornerstone of our federal republic. I don't know how to pilot jets either, and that's okay because I leave that to persons who know what they're doing. Otherwise, I would put my own life in danger and also the lives of other persons. I might crash into you, and you wouldn't like that. Likewise, we intelligent people do not need you, the ignorant masses, voting away our freedoms. The same goes for those of you who believe that the Founding Fathers established a democracy in this country. You don't pledge allegiance to the democracy for which it stands. Don't vote because you're way too stupid.